Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for a weekly angel reading for December 17th through the 23rd, 2018. So let's take a moment to take a deep breath and to really focus on aligning our hearts with the connection of our higher self. And that means just letting go of anything that you feel emotional about, that you feel threatened by, to just let all these personal things subside. And be present with the divine love that resides within your heart. This brilliant, radiant sun of hope, joy, compassion, and understanding. Let it free you from any judgment that is crippling your life and is causing you to not feel safe at any given time. And if you would just allow yourself to focus on that beautiful golden light that resides within your heart, within your soul, that is shining like your radiant sun. The frequency of this consciousness of gold energy, the Christ consciousness, will elevate your frequency and create shifts in your beliefs and perception of what is occurring. And then just allow yourself to bathe in this radiant light as though it were a lake of golden energy. And just allow yourself to go for a dip and be completely immersed within this pool of golden energy, and breathe it into every cell of your body. And allow yourself to just recline. Right in the word sofa. So let yourself just recline in this pool of light and feel as each of your cells and all of the organs, your entire energy fields are soaking in this divine love, this higher wisdom. Just feel your soul and every cell of your body drinking. It's almost like you can feel the frequency. You can hear as the frequency as each part of you that has need for any kind of repair or any breach in the security of your divine entity, that it's all being filled in and smoothed over. Any holes in your energy field, in your aura, from any form of psychic attack, which can only occur when we allow ourselves to believe that we are not safe, that when we allow ourselves to believe that the balance of the universe is inherent. It's inherent in the spiritual laws, so that you don't have to fight or defend. And definitely you shouldn't be offended by anything, because the balance of your soul, the light of your soul, this love is always spinning this balance. It's always creating the wholeness that makes you special, a special form of love, the angels are saying. Each one of you is a special delight of love. And so if you would just allow yourself to trust and allow the technology of your soul and the laws of the universe to work on your behalf, to trust that they are never cease in performing these functions, so that you, and they're writing that the functions are of joy and love. So understand this, the universe's function that it does on your behalf behind the scenes always is joy and love. And they write in the word relief. And they say this just keeps going. It keeps focusing. So you can have a sigh of relief. Just take a deep breath and hold it. And they want you to continue to hold it until you can't hold it. And they want you to focus on trying to hold it until you can't hold it. And they want you to continue doing that, because this is what you and I are doing that is working against the laws. This is how we work against the laws. Because we don't let go. We hold on to, instead of releasing, relinquishing continually into the function of joy and love that the universe is always fostering. So whenever you hold, you breathe, but you hold. And in that holding, you maintain the resistance. Even when you know it's crippling you, you still hold on to it. Another way of looking at this is that balance of the universe, the laws, it's like setting a beach ball on top of the pool of water. The beach ball won't sink. It just will float effortlessly around the pool on the surface of the water. This is the function of joy and love that the universe continuously fosters and balances. But when you and I when we don't trust, we grab hold of the ball and we try to pull it down. And in our first instance, it feels like fun. But what we don't realize is that the resistance that we're creating, the energy, the extra energy that we have to exert in order to keep that ball below, because that's not its natural function. It's not the natural function of the universe. The universe doesn't create challenge. It doesn't create adversity. We latch on to something that isn't balanced for us, and we try to make it balanced. And that's where we feel the challenge or the adversity. And when we let go of the ball, the beach ball, and allow it to find its proper function, when we let go of the challenge, the problem, when we let go, that's what we call a breakthrough. And breakthroughs, the only way, I just saw the word wealth flash in front of me, the only way to really not only to have wealth, but to feel wealthy is to let go of the resistance. Let go of this idea that you are working to overcome a difficulty. Instead, allow yourself to find the path of least resistance, to find a way to enjoy, seek enjoyment, seek pleasure, seek love, seek compassion, seek peace. Seek directly what it is that you want. See, many times we hold the ball underneath, and that is to say, we seek indirectly what we want. So we find ourselves protesting the things that we don't like as a way to work towards acquiring what it is that we do want. And there's nothing wrong with the word protest or the idea of it in the way that we use it in our human experience. But you can maybe profess for the thing that you directly want. That you could, instead of protesting, let's say, for example, war, you would profess for peace. You would advocate for peace. And still, you are achieving your goal by standing in the position of what it is that you truly want to create. You are still making an announcement about what you believe in your heart is for the best and highest good of everyone. And that it may cause others to sort of enter a dialogue with you about your direction versus their own. Now is a completely different story. And because you are not attacking them, but they feel compelled to engage you, you can now maintain the purity of your purpose by always helping them to see what it is that you are focused upon and why, without making them feel judged. And in so doing, you create a flow. You're creating a path of non-resistance through which change can actually occur, through which people can see the truth or see another way. Let's not call it truth, but let's just call it another way, a better way. So this is a little bit of what they're trying to get at as just an example. And I know it's a little sensitive for me to even use this analogy because of everything that's going on at this time, and we may all have different opinions about it, and that is okay. The angels are not judging that, but what they want you to understand is that the actions that we sometimes do out there, the way we approach things, others, is also the way that we approach ourselves. And it's when you'll get what we're saying when you understand that connection. That in order to, as Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Because whatever you do unto others is the way that you approach yourself. And many times that approach creates resistance within you, so that you don't feel safe, that you don't feel good enough or deserving enough or worthy enough. And that brings us right back to that word wealth that they flashed in front of me. And how we disconnect ourselves through our own focus on the discontentment, any focus on discontentment disempowers your feeling wealthy, worthy, and then subsequently having those things. All right? So let's take another deep breath and just let that sink in for a moment. And not into your mind, but into your heart. We use our mind too much to say, I don't understand, figure this out. Okay? And when you do that, you're practicing a vulnerability within the framework of your higher consciousness. You're creating a vulnerability in the connection to your higher consciousness. Because every time we assert that we do not understand the laws of the universe gives you more of that. Meaning, I don't understand, so give me some more of that. And then you keep feeling more and more like you just don't understand a lot of things. And then you feel inadequate generally. It influences this general sense of inadequacy and not deserving and unworthiness. So what is really important that I've found in myself is to not try to figure things out in our mind. Let's use our mind as a channel for creativity, discernment, solutions that are inspired. Let the mind be the sounding board for Source, God, when He sends the streams of inspiration that disseminates into ideas and logic and structure, form. You get where we're going with this? But in the moment that you're receiving something, and I'll just sort of give another example from what I've discovered. Sometimes when I go to a museum, because I studied music but not art, but I always feel like, oh, this is not my area. So, and what I've told myself is that when I go, I'm just going to scan the art with my heart. I'm not going to try to get in my head and figure it out, because I'm going to feel all of a sudden that I'm inept. And so instead of doing that, I just focus on where I think any artist places their intention when they create the art, and that's in their heart. And so since our hearts are universal, and it's our connection to Source, God, and through that, all information through the heart is disseminated to all hearts. And so I connect to that, to the works that I'm seeing there through my heart. Which means I'm not looking for some words to put to it, but if they are invoked or inspired, then the aha, or the feeling of emotion or vibration that may shudder through my body, then that I embrace as the answers or the ideas that the artist was feeling when they were painting. Do you sort of get this? I hope that helps you to understand how you can get out of your way and to be less resistant. Okay? There's more I want to say about this, but because I had a client yesterday, and this came up about how we use our mind. It occurred to me as well. We use our mind too much for trying to fix problems. And I know you think that sounds crazy, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. But the thing is that you got to understand the laws of the universe. That becomes a practice that you foster or nurture. You're nurturing this kind of experience. When you focus your mind all the time on problems, then you're just telling the universe to give me some more of that. Give me some more problems. Give me more challenges. When you can use your mind to imagine, to conceive your soul, they're writing, use your soul to conceive, to innovate, to inspire. And for those of us who are afraid of tackling things, decisions and changes and facing them, if you were to sort of organize and write things down in your calendar, or put it in your smartphone, no matter what it is, to remind yourself to do this. Even we use our memories. Like, instead of writing things down, we want to hold it in our head and then put the pressure on our mind. The mind, when you say, you can say to your Google Assistant or your AI device, remember, it doesn't stress it. But when you tell your mind to remember all that stuff instead of putting it down, and then there's all these changes coming up, and you're afraid of them, and you're making up all these things in your head, all these assumptions, it creates stress, which conditions your mind to believe that life is too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's overwhelming. I can't take it anymore. That you're practicing the condition. None of this is real. These are practiced conditions. And so the thing is to relieve your mind of the things that it's not necessary for you to give it, and to focus your mind on the things that delight you. So in the last few weeks, I had this experience of some things came up that were like huge changes for me, and they put me in a panic. And then there was all these other little errands, this simple stuff, silly, but you get to the point where you just feel like you want to freeze and you can't move or act on any of it because there's just too much that you're processing. And what I had to do was I just put everything in my calendar, even like, remember to do this. Remember to make a decision about this, because in that moment it was like all of it was on my plate, and it was like, ugh. So I just wrote, remember to let's make a decision about this. Let's remember to turn in that letter or send that email. Now it was all out of me. It was all organized and put down. And now, thank God, the little reminder will go boop and tell me I got to do that now. And so it relieved my heart. Here's that word coming back, relief. It relieved my spirit. It took the stressors out and made things calm. And then what was really exciting is that it was, as I was fulfilling them, I felt accomplished all of a sudden. Something, because I haven't done this in a long time. The last time I really mapped out everything in a calendar, but it was the days before we had the smart devices, is when I was preparing for my master's degree recital, and I mapped out many months ahead my practice schedule and how specifically what piece I was going to work on, and what aspect of the piece, the diction, the pitches and the rhythm, rehearsals. It was all mapped out. I didn't have to think about it. I just had to follow it and just slip into it every day, which made waking up less like anxious, because you weren't forgetting anything. See, the reason that you wake up and sometimes feel like overwhelmed and that anxiety hits you is because you have too much on your heart. You haven't taken action. And mapping it out is one way, a very important way of relieving yourself. Now, when it's all mapped out and strategized, you are no longer worried about making a mistake, because that's what your mind is saying. I'm gonna forget this. I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna see. You put that stress on yourself. That's holding the ball down. You're not allowing the natural function of joy and love, because you're always using your mind in crisis mode, which is, always having a problem to deal with, and using the mind only, and you omit the channel of creativity, inspiration. This is the condition that you can switch between. So get yourself out of crisis mode and switch it so that you can be in inspiration mode. It's the difference between being a survivor versus a thriver. All right, so we have to move on. Let's take a look at the card for the week. Now, this is the card I just told you last week that when it comes up, it totally why are you here? This card. So, okay. And, so in the moment, what I'm kind of hearing is that a lot of us, so the indigo and crystal children, the first thing that's come up to me is about attention span, okay? Our attention span is changing. There was a time where holding that breadth of information in our heads and our minds was okay because we were less distracted. But today, in today's society, we are way too distracted. There are devices in our hand. The news feeds, the notifications of our lives are constant. They are on us all the time, and so therefore there's something pulling our attention away from something that we are currently engaged in. We don't, we have the do not disturb mode, thank God, but we have the impulse to keep checking into the world and taking our attention away from the purpose we're supposed to be fulfilling in the moment. And so this is sort of the idea here that we need to create, to allow ourselves to not be distracted. We need to be okay with the device taking the calls and the messages and holding it there, and know that it's there and you'll get to it. And even if you have to tell your friends and your colleagues, if I don't answer you right back, it means I'm doing something, I'm busy, I'm focused on it, but I will get back to you as soon as possible. That's just the way everybody gets that understanding. It's something we can reinvent our own network. How things work, because I am one of the people that definitely feels, because I didn't grow up with these, but it's like now that I have them, I always feel like I got to answer somebody right away, and I find myself going, okay, I don't, but I probably feel better if I just said to my network of friends and and so forth, and even my professional things, that I won't be able to get back to you right away. It'll be like 24 hours, or it'll be as soon as I, depending on what the association is. But you get this idea. We can get really distracted, and we need to sort of create some boundaries here. So that's the thing that's coming up for me about this card right now. And you may want to pay attention to this with children in terms of, and other indigo and crystal adults. You may want to start, because some of these crystal kids now are adults, and the indigos are way. So you may notice that, that people are not as attentive, or their attention is not as devoted or consistent as you would like. But this is because we're in an age where we are just really distracted, and therefore things are more stressful as we feel like we cannot be consistent in the connection or the task that we're trying to get done. So you may feel frustrated that you're trying to get something completed, and between you and someone else, and something's just constantly interrupting that. And so just be aware of this, okay? All right, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. All right, so I guess we're just going to have to find ways to work together, better ways to work together, maybe create understandings. And this is interesting, as this card comes up, so I'm talking, the Three of Autumn or Pentacles. And this card is about, to me, it's about networking too, as well, about with your artistry or your projects, working as a team. So, you may want to set some as a group or a team, set some ground rules, about how to deal with your focus. What's agreeable to everybody. Like just say, and let's just do this as maybe a silly example, but it may be the thing that's going on. So especially the holidays is coming up, and more people want to create connections, especially in the time that we're in our world right now, that everything seems like it's fragmenting. And so it is the desire of the soul for oneness. And so the reason you're feeling this push against the fragmentation is because your higher self is aligned in the oneness with God and the entire universe. So this is the natural function of the joy and the love that you delight in. And so let's say at the holidays or in a meeting, you may want people to be more focused, and you feel like you're working against this. So set some boundaries, set some ground rules, openly communicate, and see, can you find agreement, consensus about how to deal with these challenges instead of complaining. Because complaining is holding yourself in resistance. That's pulling that beach ball down and trying to deal with it in a way that's not conducive for anybody. So seek out the highest good, the way to approach things for the highest good. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And I was really seeing a lot of images about emotional dysfunction, vulnerability. So it's interesting, this card comes up, and we're getting close to the holidays, and the stress is going to be a part of it, but you can make sure that you are focused on the priorities of your heart. Don't be focusing so much on the stuff that's going wrong. So, this is a card about crying over spilt milk. You and this card usually shows 3 cups that are broken, but 2 that are still standing behind. You got options. So when things don't work out, be open to the options. Be proactive. And in this week and in the next few weeks, be all about looking for the options. When one thing doesn't work out, just say, hey, all right, there's got to be there's got to be a reason for this. There's a better opportunity. What is it? Let's look for it. And get everybody engaged on this, so that everybody is thinking positive in the same way. Don't let it fall into people complaining or people grieving or whining, about the good old days or about the past. Like, if so-and-so was still here, this wouldn't be going on, that kind of talk. Just like, okay, so this is where we are today. This doesn't feel perfect. It feels imperfect. So what are the solutions? What can we create here? I really feel like this is a card of creativity. So what can we create? how can we improve this situation? How can we make this unique for ourselves? Maybe this is the start of new traditions, moving forward. How can we have fun and enjoy ourselves instead of running away from it because you're running away from the past or something that's grieving you or regrets? Don't run away. Be creative about it. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. And, I'm just hearing right now, being impatient. Okay, so you're going to really you don't want to focus on, you don't let your impatience become the thing that you're focused. You don't want that to be the foundation that you're trying to come up with some kind of fix. So think of what it means when you are waiting. And maybe it's giving you time to observe, to actually see those other possibilities or opportunities for you to create something, to come up with something different, something that may be even better, and make this the best holiday season, or this the best project you've ever done. Maybe it's about, like, you've been doing things the same way, but maybe it really is time for a change, and your soul is getting your attention. And when things appear to not be moving or functioning, that means that you're out of alignment and that there's a better function. So be seeking that. Okay, look for it. Be diligent about it and finding out what that may be. But you're definitely, what I love about this card is you're sitting on something. You're sitting on an opportunity. And you can complain about it and wail and moan about it. Or you can actually figure out or let it occur to you what it really is and be blessed by this. But this impatience is coming because we have become conditioned to be inconsistent in the way that we focus our attention. Talking about this card with the Archangel Metatron. So we could call upon Archangel Metatron to help us to balance our energy centers, so that we can find that alignment of function for those. Because what we want to do is we want to tap into that fifth dimensional frequency where we see the contrast as a tool of creativity, that it helps us to explore what we truly desire. That once we run into something that is an obstacle, we see that as a tool for the change that will point us in the right direction for what we really want to create. Okay, let's take a look at the card that I already pulled from the bottom of the deck. And this seems quite appropriate to all of this. Fragmentation, distractions, anxiety, stress, blah, 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 right? Is the High Priestess, which is, this is the time for you to really be more reflective. All of this, when all the energy seems to be pointing to action and activity, and it overwhelms you, you need to take a deep breath. You need to go deep within, really find alignment with your higher self, with the balance of the laws. Feel that trust that's innate in the balance of the laws, and open yourself to this. And take a deep breath, get a breakthrough, and then start channeling the creative resources, the ideas, the solutions that occur to you. Just go ahead on about your business, and they'll come to you. Don't keep asking. Don't keep insisting that you don't understand, because that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get the solution that'll make you feel peace and make you feel like you're in the flow. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and thank you all for joining us. If you're looking for an angel reading, please, you can contact me at theangelschool.com, which you can find in the description link below. There's one there. For the daily card messages, there's a link below. You can also find us on Twitter. Have a beautiful week of preparations for the holidays, and God bless you all.